Hello everyone, and welcome back. In this section, we'll take a look at some of Excel's more advanced data analysis tools and how to use them. The first thing we need to do is download a larger dataset and look at getting that into Excel. For most data analysis tasks, you'll be working with a pre-populated Excel workbook and not entering our own data like we did in the last section. So this is what we'll cover in this lecture now. One of the places where you might get a lot of your datasets from is a website called Kaggle. And this is a really popular platform which is used by data analysts and data scientists to share datasets, code, as well as enter competitions which are usually hosted by external companies. Overall, it's a great place to find datasets as well as learn from and collaborate with others who work within the data analysis and/or data science field. So I would highly recommend that you create an account. Also, when interviewing for jobs, a strong Kaggle account can really help you stand out from others, especially if you're looking at getting your first job with no prior experience. Just to quickly show you where to find datasets, if we go over to the Datasets tab on Kaggle, here you'll find thousands of datasets. You can filter out or search for different topics. So if you're massively interested in Formula 1, for instance, we could search here for Formula 1 and you'll find dozens of datasets relating to this topic. This is a really great way to practice your skills and learn on a dataset that's of interest to you. In fact, Kaggle is where I got all the datasets from for this course. For this lecture, I'll show you how to download and import a dataset into Excel. We'll be downloading a dataset on some sample sales data, which you can see here. To download the dataset, you'll first need to sign into Kaggle. If you don't want to create an account, you can find the dataset within the course material, so while you don't need to create an account, I would recommend you doing so for your own benefit. And then up here in the top right, we have the download button. So if you go ahead and click on this, your browser will download a zipped file containing the dataset to your local PC. I've gone ahead and extracted the downloaded zip file, and if we open it up, we'll find a CSV file containing our sales data. Now, a CSV file is simply a text document where entries are separated by commas. So let's open this up in Notepad and have a quick look. At the top, we have our column headings. So we have order number, quantity ordered, price each, and so on. And each header is separated by a comma. Then below this, we have our actual data. So this first order number here is 10107. Then we have our comma, which signifies that we are entering a value into the next heading, which is quantity ordered. So 30 is our quantity ordered. And then this then repeats for the entire CSV dataset. So to get this CSV file into Excel, all you will usually need to do is double-click on the file or right-click and open with Excel. And in nearly all cases, this will work fine. And as we can see here, the file has loaded correctly and all of our data is present. However, there may be some times or cases when you want to change how the data is loaded or the file isn't loaded correctly at all. And then to do this, we can use the import wizard within Excel. Let's go ahead and open a new Excel workbook. If we navigate to the Data tab, on our ribbon, we'll find the option to Get Data. Then when we click on this, we get a whole bunch of different options, like data from file, traditional databases, Azure, and other sources like SharePoint or even the web. In our case though, we want to import from a file, so if we hover over from File, you'll see here that we get quite a few options, such as from Excel Workbook, from text or CSV, from XML, from JSON, and a few other not so common options here at the bottom. Our file though is a CSV file, so if you go ahead and click on from text/CSV, and then navigate over to where you downloaded and extracted the file, we can then double click and open the file. This then opens the file import wizard, which allows it to change how our data is imported. The most common change is to change the type of delimiter that is used, which we can do up here at the top under the delimiter dropdown. Currently, it is set to comma, which means that each value is separated by a comma, like we saw in the Notepad file. There may be times though when the delimiter is not a comma, and maybe for instance is a tab or a TSV, with TSV being short for a tab separated value. And if you need to change that, you can do so from here. At the bottom, we then have the options to either load or transform our data. And if we click on transform, this will then open the Power Query Editor, which is a very powerful tool, but is not something that we'll need to cover in depth fully in this course. But some very basic transformations you can do include things like removing columns, renaming columns, or changing the data type of the column. But for now, we'll just go ahead to the top left of our dataset and click on Close and Load. Okay, and here we can see that we have now loaded our dataset into Excel. When we import our dataset using the import wizard, Excel automatically formats our data as a table. And this is why we now have a green background of our spreadsheet, because the data is in a table. We'll look at data tables in greater detail later on in the section, but for now, we'll just open the file as a regular CSV. I just want to show you really how you can import data using the import wizard should you need to. Okay, and so with that, I'll see you all in the next lecture, where we'll have a look at how to sort our dataset.